Good morning, my dear yogis. So, looks like lockdown is going to ease off. So, for those of you, I will send emails out who visit me at UShot. Hopefully we'll be back on the 8th and the 9th. I think they're the correct dates. Obviously, lockdown's coming, releasing on the 2nd or the 3rd. So it'll be the following week that we'll come back physically. I will send emails out to you also. Looking forward to getting back to some kind of new normal. So let's take a minute to get on the mat and see where the journey takes you. I'm going to do some floor work today with you, just to free up sort of perhaps the pelvis and the hips, always the hips, where we store our emotional energies. So there's a lot of energies, I think, surfacing now. So it's going to be time to keep them grounded, keep them real, notice how everything affects you and how that's affecting your physical body, because we do store these emotions and these energies in our body. And so the yoga, the physical practice, is going to help us just to release those and stop our body contracting too much. So if you're a little bit fearful of coming out of lockdown, a little bit fearful moving forward, the yoga practice, the physical practice can help you just to free up this so that we don't store it and it becomes really heavy and congested, and the body then just you feel like an old woman or an old man. So we don't want to do that, do we? No way. So let's get on the mat. Start on your bottom. So just take a minute onto your mat. I can't see anything because I'm so far away. And just allow a moment. I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to move this forward a little bit so you can see me. Just allow a moment to settle on your mat. Always allow a few moments of breath awareness. It's important that we don't just jump onto our mat. We bring all our baggage with us onto our mat, and then we start to force our bodies into shapes and postures that perhaps aren't beneficial for us. So really take the time. You can stand, sit or lie. It doesn't matter how we center the mind and focus, but just take that time. Few minutes, that's all it takes, just to follow the breath. Clears the mind, allows you to put to one side anything that we are storing or worrying about, anything that is using our excess energy, and that just allows you to sort of clear the way so that we can feel the physical body, we can feel what the emotions are telling us, we can notice the mind chatter. And these are important aspects of our physical practice too. It's not just about the physicality. So please just follow the breath, set your intention. If you have an intention, just allow yourself time to go, okay, I've got stiff hips, back, shoulders today. I want to have insight on how to clear those today. Show me movement that's going to help me free up that blocked energy, that stagnant energy, things that we're holding tight into. And it's just a contraction. These are the body's contracting to protect these emotional overloads, these external as well as internal. It's not just always ours, it's stuff that we're being bombarded with too. So notice the quality of your breath. Always notice the quality of the breath. The breath will give you that guide as to how your nervous system is operating. Is it very stressed or is it cool and calm and collected? Just notice that inhale, exhale. Notice how deep you can take it. Is it quite shallow at the top of the collarbones, or can we take it right down to the low belly? I feel like I'm contracting my belly a little too tight today. Oh, just feel those energies circulating. It's so good just to stop and put that pause button on and allow yourself a moment to just, sit in the lay-by from the fast lane. Because even if we're in lockdown, but still, most of us are busy doing things, keeping our life in order. So just allow that pause moment. It's so wonderful. Take a breath. So beneficial. And a lot of people just want to get on and move. I'm a little bit like that. You want to move your body, you want to get rid of all this stuck energy, but actually that pause phase, same as the breath, it has an inhale, there's a slight pause at the top, there's the exhale, and there's a pause at the bottom. Notice those pauses. How big or small are those pauses? And just allow yourself that time to pause. Can you lengthen that pause, that suspension? So everything stops for a minute, and then we continue. And this is important. How do we carry our life out? Do we take pause moments? I've noticed fitness training always has a pause moment now. It stops. So things have changed, they're catching us up. Fitness are catching us yogis up. So notice this pause phase, really important. Just feels really refreshing for me. And then we're going to start moving the body, because obviously time is a bit key with this technology. I've had another week of it, guys, another week of technology. Oh heck, it does my head in. I get overload up here. Let's take some little circles just to wake up. You can do your own mobilization, but just make sure your body is ready to move, please. A few windmills. So if you want to just jump straight into it while I rattle on, that's absolutely fine. I have no problem with people moving while I move or talk. This can come into a circle. I just feel this on my shoulders, my upper back. So just bring that shoulder forward and down. Bring that circle down. Let's try it the other way. Circle it up and round. Oh, it's just nice to slow everything down. So with things becoming a little bit more active again, things might feel a little rushed. Let's just take some lift and drops of the shoulders. Just lift and drop. Lift and drop. Circle the shoulders. Just allow a little bit of movement into the diaphragm. This will move your diaphragm too. So if you're a little bit stuck with those breaths, just allow this to move out a little bit. Neck releases, just do some little circles through the head and the neck. A few yeses and nos. Just to free up any tension. Here's the pause. Give yourself a cosmic egg. So just take that moment to breathe down to the belly. And this pause can be as long as you need it. The breath can be focused on. Notice again that pause on the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. And just be aware. With each round of pause we take, does the breath become smoother? Does your nervous system feel smoother? Take this into windscreen wiper legs. Just roll the knees side to side. You will walk forward a little bit on this, so always be aware of your space you're working in. I had to totally move my furniture around this morning. So come on, let's get back to U-Shop Village Hall, please. And just take this into a little bit of release phase. So we let it drop to the floor. We don't need to hold tight. So I can feel a lot of tension through my hip flexors, top of my hips. So letting go. That's nice. Let it flop. And let it flop. Into the release rolls or the cat-cow pelvic tilts. Just allow a little bit of movement over the pelvis. If you want to release roll, just take this forward and back a little bit. If you want to do the slow roll, here it is. Take it all the way over the top and then take it down with the breath, with the pause, into each vertebrae. Notice where it gets a little sticky. Notice where you're gripping with the muscles. So again, let that release phase happen. Ooh, my back's tight here. So find some breath if you find a sticky spot. I think a little happy baby might be quite happy there. And just to release, so holding into the inner outer edge of the foot. Just allow that little bit of rocking side to side. It's not the most elegant of postures, but it's really nice to release out the back. Oh, feels really good. Really nice. And then hug. You can take hold of the feet, draw the head up, the chin up, and just hug a little tighter. A bit like a cosmic egg, but on your back. Into your release rolls again. Just take that up and down. Just notice for yourself where the tension is accumulating. And of course our general patterning of how we hold the body. Just let the windscreen wipers flop a little bit here, just to open up the deeper channels now. Now we're lying on our back. Just allow this little flop to resonate, to release a bit further up the body now. Love a bit of floppy. And so it's learning to let go on the down phase. Letting go. It's sometimes quite hard to let go. Bring it into a little bit of footwork. So just circle up the feet. They would point and flex. And then just drop a few times. There's a video earlier I did with all of these release phases. I don't really want to focus too long on those today, but I just need to wake up my body. A little bit of head release. Oh yes, thank you. A little bit of zombie arms just to release up the shoulders a little bit. And that can flop too. So it's like a floppy day today. Alright, let's just bring this back up into cosmic air. Give it a hug. Just allow that to pause again. How's the breath feel now on this pause? It can be flat, or you can just rest this. When we rest it back, the legs actually then learn to let go because we're gripping with the arms. And then just drop the feet down. Take hold of the top of your feet and very slowly start to just move your feet away. If your mat's particularly sticky, they won't slide. I want you to lengthen your breastbone to pubic bone so that we're not rounding, we're not pushing our back away. I want you to lengthen and just rest your chest onto your thighs. Now this might be deep enough for you, or you can start to slide the feet further away. But I don't want you to change particularly the length at the front of your body. The front of your body is important here so that we're not rounding the back too much. So keep it long, keep resting. Doesn't matter if your chest comes away from your thighs. Just gently slide the thighs away. And you'll start to feel your hamstring stretching. Your sit bones, they're out behind you. They're not tucked underneath you. So I want you to adjust as you need to. You can sit on a block, move the hips forward. Yow. Anybody else feel that? And it doesn't matter how low you're going. As soon as you feel the stretch down the back of your thigh, it's enough for you to stay and breathe. Feel that breath. Feel that pause again. And the longer you stay, the longer you'll release, the more you'll release, and maybe you can then go a little deeper. And obviously it's not a competition to reach the floor. Better that we're in a much more upright position, that our bodies are not rounding. Once we get a little lower, we can start to yield and let go. Go a little deeper. I'm not going to go that deep straight away. It's too much. And then slowly release that up into a deep inhale. Top of the mountain. Oh, sorry, staff pose, not a mountain. Just give your legs a little flippy flop. And exhale, just bring the hands down beside you, flex up the feet, push the heel away, staff pose, Dandasana, tuck the chin in to look down the front of the body, and breathe. And just try and very gently activate the muscles along the spine, the core, the quads and the hamstrings. dynamic stretch. Doesn't look like a lot's happening, but make sure you can feel both sit bones equally on both sides. I'm a little bit right heavy. And then just release that. Give the legs a little bit of a flippy flop. Just going to take that down to a release roll, just to bring that up and down. Notice any changes each time we release. I feel a little bit better. That's for me. Now bring that back to seated. Let's move back because I tend to roll forward a little bit. Hold the top of the feet again. We'll do the best of 3. Lift up the chest. Start to slide the feet away. Move the sit bones further back. The pelvis got tucked underneath you a little bit. For me, I need to just squeeze the rib cage and pull down a little bit into my breastbone. I tend to create a bit more of a back bend for myself. And then just drop that a little bit deeper if it's able to. I'm going to release the hands, interlace them behind my back, open up the shoulders, so right across the pec, and just very gently squeeze the back of my shoulders. Careful of the chin jut, the wrong teeth in. And just very gently, just stretch across the front of the chest as well. Ooh, should be getting nice and warm. And then gently release. Ooh, might be able to go a little deeper. Bring it all the way up. Inhale, top. Exhale. Let's take this into a little bit of second movement, into a cat-cow. So roll it up through the cat, into a little bit of cow, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. And then gently forward fold. And again, I want you to gently, if your hands reach, doesn't matter where they reach, I want you to very gently lift away from the pubic bone. That'll free up the pelvis behind you. You can adjust it. And then for me, rather than going into a back bend, I need to just very gently pull the rib cage in and the breastbone down. So I'm not overreaching my thoracic, my upper body isn't overreaching. And very gently settle that. You might find you can go a little deeper, it doesn't matter. We don't have to reach the feet. I always just say my arms weren't long enough, but they are plenty long enough. Because my hamstrings are tight. Elbows can start to soften down, but please be careful that you're not trying to reach your head to the knees. Your head is actually reaching away. It's lengthening towards the feet, not to the knees. And then slowly bring that all the way back up. Ooh. Give the knees a little flippy flop. Give your knees a little windscreen wiper. Just to let go of any hip flexor tension. And we'll just push this up into reverse push up or tabletop. Reverse tabletop is fine. So open up the shoulders. Again, make sure you've got a little bit of a squeeze to the ribs and the breastbone so we're not overarching. I just very gently push the hips up. Slow as breath. If you need to just move in and out of it, please move in and out of it. We don't have to stay into any shape if it's uncomfortable. Let it breathe. Your neck is not tense, it's not dropping back either. It's just in neutral. And then just drop that back down. Give the knees a little flop or little windscreen wipers. And my pocket out. Nothing in it. No money. I've got no money. Oh, and then we're just going to bring this into Janu Shirshanasana. So straighten up one leg. Doesn't matter which one, just remember which one you've got. Drop the leg open to the side. So we're into a bit more of a oblique position. And sorry, not oblique. And then same applies. We want to lift and lengthen. Squeeze into the breastbone and the ribs. Pull them down a little bit. Sit bones out behind you. So we want to just adjust the pelvis back so the whole pelvis tilts. We're not just taking the upper back forwards. Don't worry how low you go. It really doesn't matter, everybody. It really doesn't matter. And just start to find a little bit of a forward fold. Careful of this foot here. Mine's getting a little squashed here. Really doesn't matter how deep you go, but I want this length. The head moving away from the sit bones. So we've still got this length happening between the breastbone and the pubic bone. If we start to hunch over, we're going to inhibit the breath, the energy channels down the back of the body and the front of the body. So be careful that we're not trying to go too low. It does not have to be low to feel the stretch up the back of the hamstring here. Just allow this to breathe. And again, if it becomes really, really grippy, it's often wise to move in and out of it so we can take some breaths and we can come forward. And we take some breaths. And just allowing that breath in. Because sometimes we're in our head and we're trying to force this into a shape that actually the body's not ready for. Because we have an image in our head how we want to be. And we really don't need to be all the way down here. Just let this breathe. And slowly bring that up. I'm going to need to do a twist. So I'm just going to rotate side to side. Because I can actually feel mine in my upper back. It's a little tight. And then twist towards the open leg, the bent leg. And again, we just want to lift up through the head and then rotate round. Notice if your opposite sit bone has come off, just keep that grounded. And allow that to breathe. Noticing where the breath is. I've got a few gurgles going on in mine because I've compressed all of my internal organs. And then bring that round. Just counterpose it the opposite way. Bring that into the breath again. Notice you're pushing with the shoulder rather than it be a twist. Sorry about the doorbell. Rather than a twist into the thoracic. Both sit bones grounding down to the floor. And if you look over the opposite shoulder, that'll just help you without pushing that shoulder too deep. You want the twist to happen through the obliques. And then bring it back around. Just a little lateral stretching side to side. That feels very nice. Just to free up again any congestion. And then bring that forwards again. So back into the forward fold. Lengthen, top of the head away. Squeeze the rib cage, pull the breastbone down a little bit. Allow the sit bones to lift out behind you. And then start to move yourself forward if that's comfortable. Take it to your own limit. Find the breath. Notice where the restrictions are. Where you're gripping. This left shoulder of mine's a little bit grippy. So let the shoulder relax. Doesn't need to do any work right now. I've got my elbows down, so I'm supported now in my shoulders. Don't need to keep pushing. Make sure we've got a little bit of engagement down into the belly. Just to support the back. Beautiful. And then slowly bring that up. Draw that knee in. Just another little twist. Actually, I'm going to open and close it. My ankles are a little sore. And just add another twist this side with the knee up. So just finding that twist. A little slightly different place now. So I seem to have got my wrong teeth in today. I felt quite tired last week, so this technology's frazzled my brain. That's a story for another day. And then bring that back round. Just straighten the legs, give them a little flippy flop. Allow that just to release anything. Windscreen wipers with the feet, just open up the channels down into the feet. A few clicks going on for me. Into reverse tabletop. And again, this can come, you can come in and out. Don't have to stay in. If you're comfortable, hang out here. You can start to open up a leg here, but make sure your hips are pushing up, they're not dropping. So if you are, make sure your hips stay parallel. So this tends to be what happens. So push the hip up if you are straightening up one leg so that we're equal. And then drop that down. Just give this a hug. Here's your pause. Just find that pause moment so you can lift your feet off if you prefer. So allow everything to yield. And you can do release rolls if you prefer as well. We're going to do the other side. So let's bend up the opposite leg. Let's bring that other leg forwards. Notice again how this feels. It's going to feel different on both sides. Start to bring it forwards. Might want to do the breath straight away. Notice how that feels. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring it forwards. Inhale it all the way up. And obviously we like to do everything the same on both sides, but the application might need to be slightly different because you might feel it different on this side. So don't worry. I often don't do things the same in the same order because I'll listen to what my body needs on this side rather than what I did on the other side. I can feel a lot of tension going on just in this hip today. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a flippy flop. Make sure I'm not pushing too far with the opposite leg too. Lifting up through the top of the head. Squeeze the ribs down into the breastbone a little bit. Just find that lift and length. This side's a lot tighter for me personally. Just finding that breath. Ooh, noticing how that feels. I'm going to be pushing this foot a little bit too far away from me, so just bring that back in, pull it back into the hip a little bit. So I'm not pushing it away, I'm pulling it back into my hip so that my pelvis stays relatively square on, facing forwards. And again, make sure we're not collapsing that upper back. Try and keep this long without overarching. Check myself too. And then just bring that back up into some twists. So just find that little bit of twisting now, side to side. And just noticing again for yourself how this is feeling. Twist towards the bent leg. Just hold the knee. We want to lift up a little bit. Check you're grounded in both sit bones. If the neck's stiff, sometimes it's stiff one side, not the other, because obviously we've got the chain effect. So if we're stiffer on one side, it might be affecting further up the shoulders and the neck. Just allow that to breathe. A few gurgles going on for me again, where we're compressing into. I drank a lot of water this morning, and dry. Just finding, notice if the shoulder's pushing too much, so relax off the shoulder a little bit. And then we'll just counterpose that to the other side. Oh, this feels stiffer this side, but I'm a right-handed person, so I don't, in my everyday work, generally twist to my right. Easing off a little bit, so just notice for yourself what is going on where. And then bring that back round. Deep inhale, exhale, start to bring that forward fold again. So inhale up to the top. Again, I have to be aware of my over extended cat. So for me, I've just got to not reach as far. I need to reach the stars today. And then settle that into your forward fold. Do as many breaths as you need to, or you can rest it and then bring it back to the breathing movement. And just allow a little bit of softness down. Notice where we're gripping. Oh, this side just doesn't feel as comfortable for me. A lot tighter this side. Engage the core a little bit, so let's use the belly muscles just to support the back. Check the shoulders, mine are very pushy. So let this breathe again. Follow the breath. And just release anything that's gripping. Fully supported posture. There we go, that's easing off a little bit. And then bring that back up. A little bit of twisting. Draw that knee up this time. If you need to just release it open a few times, if it is particularly grippy, I know mine is on this side, and just let it flop a few times, then hug the knee in onto both sit bones, lift up through the top of the head, take that turn around, looking, making sure this shoulder, my shoulders seem to think they can do all the work, whereas I don't then use my core muscles, my obliques. And just allow that to breathe. It's a closed twist, so the breath might be a bit shortened. And then this side, much easier to twist to this side as I am right-handed. Give that a little flippy flop into reverse tabletop. So open up the shoulders, so you want to squeeze the back of the shoulders, push to the top of the hip. Make sure we're pushing equally, so ground into the heels. Make sure we're not dropping the head. We don't want to just drop the head back, so support the back of the neck. And just open up the front of the body. If you want to, try and extend one leg, but keep pushing up through that hip, so don't try and don't let the hip drop. And then drop it down. It's a nice pec stretch. Hug. Give yourself a hug. And the release roll, so just take it back. You can do this slowly or quickly, using the pelvic tilt, so we're not just using momentum. Allow this just to roll a few times. So I feel like I'm rolling away from you all. Oh, that's life, isn't it, in a minute? Let's roll it away. Let's just take this into Baddha Konasana, bad angle. Just open the knees to the side. You can add a little twist here, circle here. I really haven't got my head on today. I think it's disappeared into the phones. A little bit of rocking. And then again, we want to try and move the sit bones behind us. It doesn't matter how low you go, and you might find that this is just stretching enough for you. If you are able to, we start to move it forwards, but again, be really careful of just trying to get to the floor. We don't want to, particularly around the upper back. The upper back needs to stay into that neutral shape so that we feel it through the hips. Obviously it's going to round a little bit. I don't expect it to be dead flat. And once we get to a stage where we can feel that stretch, we're at our limit, you can obviously then start to soften the upper back down a little bit. But we're trying to keep and maintain the length through the front and the back of the body. Oh, lovely. Feels very nice. I feel a bit hairy too. And just allowing that to breathe. And then slowly bring that back up. Let the knees come back up. Either hug or windscreen wipers, or both. Doesn't matter how we bring that out. Just a finishing posture for you. Just hug the knees in. Let that roll back onto the floor. Finding just a little bit of... I have troubles with my mat. Rolling around. Oh dear. Just give that a little bit of maybe happy baby or a little bit of rocking. So happy baby, take hold of the feet. Notice from when we started to how that feels now. Just give that a little rock or find the stillness. Just let that breathe. Notice where you're gripping again. Very nice. And just letting that settle. It is these pause moments in our postures where we notice what we need to let go of, where we're pushing still, where we're resisting. And just hug those knees back in. If you need to counter pose, if the hip flexors feel a little sticky, just either windscreen wiper the knees side to side, or bring that up into a little bridge. You can do a floppy bridge, or you can just stretch open the front of the body here. You can move into your cat-cow. This can go through any movement you need to do. And then just settle it down into your relaxation. So let the legs lengthen along the floor. And just let the body now settle into the breath. So just feel the breath coming from the tip of the nose all the way down to the belly. Notice how the body feels. Let the arms just rest on the side. Or you can rest them on your belly. It's quite nice to feel that breath. And just let your body now surrender down into the floor. If there's any tension, you can add movement, you can use breath. Just be aware where you're gripping, where you're pushing, where you're holding tight to support. And allow at least 5 minutes to rest the body down. Noticing the breath quality, noticing where you are perhaps habitually holding, so that we can let go during that breath phase. Noticing the mind. How does the mind feel when we're letting go? Is the mind beginning to interrupt us? Just notice those thoughts as they come forward. And then let them drift past. We don't need to hold on to those thoughts. We don't need to feed that energy or give it action. And just allow the body, the mind, time to rest and recharge. And you stay as long as you need to. Bring yourself back when you need to. Bring yourself back You might find you need a longer relaxation. Some days it's a short one, sometimes it's a long one. So I'll leave that up to you, how long you stay, but bring yourself back when you're ready. You can move the fingers and toes and allow yourself time to come back to your seated, and always give thanks, always give gratitude. Allow yourself time to just come back to the upright position and back into the outer world. And for now, I want to thank you all for joining me. Do hope to see you all again soon, so thank you. Virtual one is okay, but it gives me a lot of technology stress, so I look forward to seeing you all physically again very soon. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care, everybody. Have fun, have a good day. Bye for now.